but I hope I will be engaging and short. So let's just get right into it. A brief introduction into the Youth Café and the work that we do. So the Youth Café is a multi-award-winning, not-for-profit and Pan-African youth-led and youth-serving organization with its headquarters in Nairobi, Kenya. And since its founding in 2012, the Youth Café has been working with young people in Kenya and around Africa to advance youth-led approaches towards achieving sustainable development, social equity, innovative solutions, community resilience, and transformative change. To date, the Youth Café has reached around 2 million young men and women with its projects and mobilized over $10 million in support for youth empowerment in Africa. At the Youth Café, we're strong believers in the idea that progress is impossible without collaboration. And so at the heart of the Youth Café's operational work lies the notion of partnerships. These partnerships with wide-ranging actors, including member states, international organizations, the United Nations, foundations, youth organizations, private sectors, and civil societies, multiply and amplify the impact and relevance of the Youth Café. We have also attracted major partners such as USAID, Ford Foundation, Google, International Challenge Fund, etc., just to mention a few. Our current strategic plan looks at today's youth bulge as an opportunity for development and economic growth. To this effect, we partner with young people, leverage research, learning, and adaptation, cultivate sustainability and self-reliance, and advance gender-responsive youth programming. Our work is underpinned by a set of principles which include to build a more relevant, sustainable, and effective enabling environment for education and work systems for young people that recognize their rights and will, to involve young people at all levels in decision-making processes that will affect their lives, to partner with young people to build a better, more resilient world for all generations, and to frame youth programs on a gender-responsive, right-based approach, implying that young people are considered right holders as well. Our mission is to enrich the lives of young people by modeling and advancing youth-led and right-based approaches for fostering young people's civic efficacy, community resilience, sustainable development, and equitable society, as well as proposing innovative solutions, driving social progress, and inspiring transformative change by utilizing innovative research, policy, and advocacy actions. Our vision is to advance youth-led approaches towards achieving sustainable development, social equity, innovative solutions, community resilience, and transformative change. While active on a number of cross-cutting issues, the Youth Café works mainly in 8 priority areas to which it brings a multidisciplinary and multi-perspective approach. These are peace and security, which includes preventing violent extremism, governance and political inclusion, with regards to remittances and accountability, culture, arts and sports, education and skills, business, job creation and entrepreneurship, universal health coverage, environmental preservation, and climate change. The 8 pillars of the Youth Café provide an essential organizing structure for the development and implementation of its various programs and initiatives, which all play a critical role in reducing youth deprivation and socioeconomic empowerment of young people in the continent. Our 8 pillars include these. So the Peace and Security Initiative was developed for the goal to achieve positive contributions through active engagements and participations in the maintenance and promotion of international peace and security. And we hope our projects provide participation of youth in peace building and conflict prevention, management and resolution and recovery. Governance and political inclusion with regards to accountability was to increase advocacy for political stability and effective governance to ensure there's a transparent, democratic, and accountable environment. An example of the work we've done in this section is the Youth Manifesto that we developed, which opened interactions that fed into the general democratic scene and stimulated proposals of transformative solutions. Then comes culture, arts, and sports. This was to increase contributions to socioeconomic stability, sustainable development, and economic growth through cultural entrepreneurship. Currently, we are working with creatives to document our projects and amplify their voices in our perspective blogs and podcast sections. Our education and skills pillar was established to increase access to efficient, high-quality education and training systems to facilitate young people's access to education and integration into the job markets. Examples of this work is our financial literacy program, which sought to empower the youth and help them navigate the financial real world. Another example is the establishment of our digital media information literacy handbook. The Youth Café seeks to equip young people with key media literacy skills, critical thinking, fact-checking, online safety, social media verification, and quality assessment of online information and their sources through this dedicated handbook. Through designing, developing, evaluating, and disseminating a youth-centered digital media literacy handbook, we hope to address digital threats to democracy in Kenya. Then to business, job creation, and entrepreneurship, we hope to increase training, mentorship opportunities for young people to leverage and create self-employment and job opportunities for other young people. An example of work in this stream is our Youth Nabiz project, which aims to improve the lives of young people through skills training in the solar industry. Then moving on to universal health coverage is to increase access to quality, affordable, responsive, and youth-friendly health services that help young people stay healthy, empowered, embracing gender equality norms, and demanding their rights. We improve the youth mental health by promoting social inclusion and strengthening post-pandemic resilience in Kenya through the psychosocial intervention model that we developed. Moving on to governance and political inclusion with regards to remittances, we hope to reduce remittance fees and transfer options to increase generations of domestic resources and eradicate high levels of poverty. We advocate for transparency about remittances, as well as more user-friendly applications and capacity. And lastly, to environmental preservation and climate change, to increase initiatives, programs that improve the lives and lifestyles of young people through reliable green jobs. An example of the work in this stream is also our Youth Nabiz project, which was to use solar energy for small businesses and opportunities for skill training in the solar industry. We have worked to develop a theory of change, which is a roadmap that depicts the relationship between the Youth Café's inputs, activities, outputs, outcomes, and impacts. These impacts include both short and long-term outcomes and also reflect changes at different levels, such as individuals, organizations, systems, and communities. We have incorporated the views of young people, youth-led and youth-serving organizations, and experts so that our map reflects young people's views of how change occurs. Additionally, we have documented the assumptions and risks on which we have based our change effort. Here is a short 2D video to give you a better insight into our work.
Roughly 75% of the African population is below 35 years of age, filling our continent with incredible potential and energy. But despite all this, factors such as poor distribution of healthcare, education, employment, and even water and sanitation facilities have severely crippled our potential. As a result, we can see our youth lacking safe convening spaces and unable to influence the decisions that are being made for their own nation's development. This is where the Youth Café comes in. Since 2012, we as a unique youth initiative have ensured that the talented youths of Africa are allowed to step up and play their role as the new driving force of their nations. How do we intend to bring this change, you may ask? The answer is in our theory of change, an ambitious plan to strengthen the youth of Africa and help them soar to a world of opportunities and freedom by mobilizing the goodwill and support of governments, international organizations, the United Nations, civil society groups, corporations, and the youth of Africa themselves. We follow the theory of change to carry out 8 catalytic, action-driven, and progressive activities for the sake of helping our young citizens. Firstly, we support regional sports, arts, and cultural endeavors. Then, we ensure peace and security for the youth by actively involving the stakeholders to avert their participation in cases of violence and extremism. We regulate seamless flows of knowledge transfer to help educational and skill-based institutions, directly increasing awareness and access to employment opportunities among the youth. Apart from this, we actively work to promote green, resilient, and inclusive development to combat environmental degradation. We regularly push for changes in the regulatory framework to mobilize domestic resources and eradicate poverty for the undocumented and unbanked sections of the youth. plans to promote improved access to active healthcare privileges and general health awareness against drug abuse, COVID-19, and transmissible diseases are being carefully planned by us for the young citizens. A growing businesses incubation program has been set up to support unfunded business ideas of young entrepreneurs by offering them startup capitals. And finally, we represent accountability initiatives and increasing advocacy for political stability, utilizing our community resilience and convening power. With the improved domestic development, distinguished intergenerational co-leadership, and the ever-expanding global outreach of the Youth Café, our dream of a youth-led Africa now draws closer every day. Along with our identity as a creative amplifying laboratory, advocating and fostering innovative, impactful, and progressive policies that promote youth participation and engagement at national, regional, and global levels. If you wish to see the young minds of Africa be beacons of leadership in the global community, register as a member of the Youth Café today and help us carry out our tremendous responsibilities from the front line. We welcome you to volunteer or have an internship with us and gain valuable guidance, professional recommendations, and future employment opportunities. You may strengthen our resources by donating books, equipment, and financial sums, or be part of our ecotourism programs and let us lead you through the beautiful ecosystem of our continent. The Youth Café has many more innovative ways for you to play a part in our ambitious initiatives. Visit our website today to learn more. Roughly 75% of the African population.
Sorry. Yes.
Roughly.
So I hope that gave you a better insight into our work. So now moving on to the next question. How does the Youth Café make a difference? As a unique youth initiative in Africa, seeking to foster community resilience, propose innovative solutions, drive social progress, youth empowerment, and inspire political change in Africa. As a mobilizing force that achieves results in partnerships with governments, international organizations, religious organizations, United Nations, civil society groups, corporations, youth, and the foundations. As a creative amplifying laboratory in Africa that seeks to advocate and foster innovative, impactful, and progressive policies that promote youth participation and engagement. And finally, as a convener to facilitate inclusive, accessible, and empowering digital and physical spaces for youth to meaningfully engage with different institutions through supporting them. The Youth Café's reach is in some 22 countries in Africa, and we're able to engage with youth and marginalized populations through our various projects. Some of the marginalized sections of youth that the Youth Café works with includes youth living with disability, youth living in informal settlements, young women and girls, minority youth, indigenous youth, among others. Our registered individual and organizational membership is of 48,000 and 14,000 respectively. And through them, we have been able to orchestrate partnerships, enhanced peer-to-peer learning, and inspired innovations across Africa. TYC is also increasingly seen as a digital leader with a monthly digital reach of over 600,000 people and over 147,000 subscribers. As a thought leader, the Youth Café has published over 2,000 reports and briefs, including hundreds of peer-reviewed publications on positive youth development. So we work with over 48,000 individuals and 14,000 organizational members internationally and locally who work in diverse thematic areas. And the benefits of being our member include career development and skill development training, broad networking opportunities, access to the Youth Café's groups, tools and resources, etc. So our recommendations working in the field at the Youth Café are as follows. First, in order for the Agenda 2063 to be implemented successfully, There is need for an increased public awareness and literacy of the content and relevance of Africa's development agenda to the context of the individual states. Therefore, continental, regional, and national agendas need to be distinguished. In addition, the continent's agendas need to be integrated into the national and regional implementation instruments. Secondly, clarity on the roles and responsibilities of regional institutions in the implementation development agenda need to be strengthened. Thirdly, the STEM curriculum needs to be enhanced because it is very crucial for the industrialization of African countries. Through training, the young generation of African men and women will grow up equipped with technical skills needed for the development of their economies. Fourthly, in order for Africa to progress, to be assessed properly in relations to the Agenda 2063, national statistics systems and institutions should be strengthened in order to avail the necessary data and information. And finally, it is important to set up continental, regional, and national risk management strategies that will prevent pitfalls to the overshadowing success of the Agenda 2063. Thank you. That was all from me at the Youth Café. Please feel free to reach out in case you have any queries or questions.
Maybe let's thank you so much first, our dear Malika, for your presentation. Youth Café is doing a great job in placing the peace and working on the peace building in the region. Thank you, dear participants, for being here. And yeah, maybe let's take a question from the audience about your work or maybe feedbacks.
I would like to thank you, Malika, for the beautiful presentation. Just one thing concerning the Youth Café, you've mentioned co-tourist program, a co-tourist program. What is it about? In the video, it was in the video, a co-tourist program.
Oh no, in the video, we actually meant that when you become a member with the Youth Café, with our different programming under these 8 thematic areas, we're able to also enhance like our culture, arts, and sports field. If anyone needs more information about tourism in Africa, because as we all know, most of the countries, well, some of the countries in Africa depend highly on tourism, and especially due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we've got a huge hit on the economies because of it. And so hopefully once everything gets back to normal or partially normal, we'll be able to help people get more information about tourism in Africa as well.
Okay, I see. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.